this is how God this is how this is how God literally pulled me out from my 9 to 5. And I just wanted to share this quick little testimony with y'all because look, it's been a crazy couple months from the time that I got fired to now. So I just wanted to share with y'all my testimony on how that kind of happened and what my life's been looking like ever since I became a full-time Christian entrepreneur. So the first place I want to start is a little around a year and maybe a half ago, where I just graduated high school. Life was at its peak. I was still trying to figure things out of what I really wanted to do after high school. I went on a vacation and I came back and it felt like I was pretty set and it felt like my mind was clear. And I had this whole like notion before I graduated high school. I really wanted to get into ministry and do something called YWAM. For those of you guys who are familiar with that, it's basically like this mission trip Christian organization thing that a lot of young Christians do and embark on. So my plan was to go there and, you know what I'm saying, be away from home from 6 months and just learn and experience life and learn more about the Lord and even myself. So that was my whole preconceived notion. That was my whole plan in my head. And the thing for me is what I did is I applied really late. So I applied like I think a month or two before, and a month or a week or two after I applied, I got an email back saying I didn't get accepted. And I remember after seeing that you know what I'm saying, that rejection letter, literally my hopes and my dreams and my whole plan that I had in my head since probably grade 11 for a couple years literally just fell apart. And I was left hopeless and I did not know what to do. But the good thing is I just kept going. You know what I mean? Like, as crazy as that sounds, I just kept going and I just kept trusting God on what He's doing in my life. So basically, for some context, around that time, that's when I had my brand. So that's what I mean when I kept going. I had my brand and I was like, okay, the school thing is not working. I don't really want to go to school because I'm already building a business on the side. Like, what's next? So I started working on some new designs. I dropped some t-shirts in September 2023. The t-shirt sale that I did really good. I did like a buy one or buy two get one free deal for my t-shirts. Sold out. I sold like 300 t-shirts in 1 week, which is crazy. And I was like, boom, my brand is like showing some credit and showing some proof of concept, you know? So I was like, okay, I have this brand thing going, but I'm at home every single day. I'm staying up till like 3 a.m. I have no really good sleep schedule. I'm waking up late. I'm feeling depressed. I'm seeing all my friends from high school go to uni and it seems like their lives are good and stuff like that. But I just feel like I'm really behind and I get busy and I decide to get a job. And even the way that God provided this job was absolutely crazy. So basically what happened was I remember when I came back from that vacation I mentioned early on, I had I had a dream, and in the dream, one of my brothers just randomly told me in the dream to just get a job. I was like, okay, all right. You know, I kind of breezed past that. And then maybe a week after that, I was in church, a brand new church that I just attended. And a pastor was talking about how men need to work and have some type of like purpose and just be the providers of their homes. I was like, okay, second sign. And then third sign, I randomly went to one of my friends' baptisms, and someone there was like, yo, like we're talking about jobs, and she was like, yo, you need to get a job, because I was telling her my situation. And it was literally these three signs, right, that I believe it was the Lord was trying to show me through these means to get a job. And I remember I wanted to be something called a lot attendant for the longest time. I knew some guys in high school that did it, and it just seemed like a fun job where you get to ride around in cars all day. And I was like, okay, I'm interested in cars. I don't want to be too. I don't want to be doing too much labor. So I try to apply to one of the dealerships near my house, and I walk in. I give my resume in, and I have an interview right on the spot. And the interview goes well, this and that, and then the guy tells me to come in on Wednesday. So boom, I got the job on spot. And God was literally just providing everything that I needed. I had a really successful job. I got the job, and now it was time to work. So over a couple months, I'm just working this 9 to 5, and I'm building my brand on the side. And Black Friday comes around, so this is around November 2023. Black Friday comes around, I'm doing everything that I need to do. I'm marketing, I'm getting a photo shoot done, and I'm just building my brand up on the side. And when Black Friday hits, I do really good. Like I make, I think, around 8K in one day. Black Friday, that whole week, I think I did 17K in like 7 days, which is absolutely mad in revenue. So I'm realizing again, this proof of concept that I have for my brand is actually working. So as I'm working this 9 to 5 and as I'm working my brand, I'm starting to see the fruits. And a couple months pass and it's the new year. So this is 2024 now. And by the new year, by January, my life is kind of all right. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'm away from a lot of my community. I don't really have brothers and sisters in the faith. I'm not really in a good church. Like, I was in church, but I didn't know anyone in my church. I just didn't have people around me. The only people I'd hang out with is my family and the people at my job. And I was just gaining a lot of toxicity from my job. I was just around a lot of negative people who were trying to like tear everyone down. And since I was in a dealership, it's just like a really weird environment. For those of y'all who work at dealerships, y'all probably know what I'm saying. But it was just all these negative people around me for months, and I eventually just started conforming to, like the Bible says, the patterns of this world. I started doing things that pushed a lot of my boundaries, like for example, just like, having negative thoughts all the time, cussing in my head. It was just like, bro, these things are not things that I used to do, and all of a sudden they're coming in my mind. So I'm kind of like feeling away from the Lord. Like, I'm a follower of Christ, but I'm not. My actions are not showing that I'm following Christ. I'm being silent in my faith, and all those things. And it's just a super new wave to me because I've never been silent in my faith. And as I'm doing all these things, I think this is where God kind of nudges me, and He's like, "Yo, like, you need to lock in." And I have a dream around. I think it's, bro. Let me pull up my notes real quick. This is January 8th, 2024, and you can see this is no joke. It says it on the notes as well. It says, I had a dream. I had this dream, and I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? This is just a light dream. Nothing. I'm not really gonna make anything out of this, and take in like a lot of the dreams that I don't get really don't mean anything until a month later, where this exact same dream that I had came to life and came to play. And I remember on January 8th, 2024, before I got fired. I'm giving away the story, but before I got fired, I remember I was in this Bible school, or in this Bible course that I'm taking, right? And the teacher and the professor was saying, it's not about what you dream, it's about how you feel when you're dreaming, right? And when he said that like resonated with me so hard, because when I was in this dream, for some reason I just felt a sense of peace, like a big, heavy dump truck feeling of peace, right? And a month later, literally this exact same dream came to pass. And let me read out what I wrote. So I wrote down, hold on. I had the weirdest dream about me getting fired from my job. I walked in the tower and my manager was there, and he said, we need to talk. And he started talking, but nothing he was saying made sense. Like, the explanation wasn't even good enough. I remember just doing a stank face because it made no sense at all. I just sat there and accepted it, and also being mad confused. He said that he said that day was my last day, and didn't even give me a notice or anything. Then the dream ended. And then a month after, I think it was around January or February 14th, the exact same thing happens. I get into work, and the same manager that was in this dream calls me into his office, and he's like, yo, we need to talk. And then I'm like thinking in my mind, this could be either one or two things. I did something wrong or I'm getting fired. And I sit down in his office, and he's like, yo, I'm sorry to tell you, but we gotta let you go. And I ask him, why you guys trying to get rid of me? And he's like, I don't know, we just gotta let you go. And I'm just like, bro, what? Like, the same questions that I had in the dream, where I was like, why are you guys letting me go? And he couldn't give me an answer, was the same thing that happened in real life. And I'm just sitting at the desk, and I'm literally like, I think I literally laugh. And this guy's like, you know what's so funny? And I was like, I literally had a dream about this a month ago. And I remember I get up, and I'm just so happy, I'm so joyful. And I have to go talk to the HR manager, and she gets me right and all that stuff. And I told one of my friends at the dealership at the time, I'm like, yo, guess what happened? I just got fired because during that time I had thoughts about I had thoughts about leaving, because my brand was doing pretty good. I was making what I was making at my 9 to 5 with my brand, right? So my brand was doing pretty good and pretty successful. And mans gets fired, and that's when the journey begins. And literally, it's been I got fired in February, and now it's November. I don't know what the math on how much months that is, but it's literally been a journey so far. And honestly, this is probably the best thing that's probably ever happened to me, and I'm glad that the Lord was able to open these doors. And if you're anyone like me who's in my shoes, or who are in my shoes right now, that are trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, leave their job or whatever it may be, I don't know if the Lord is going to give you a direct sign, just as he did for me and just made my life easier, or how he's gonna work that out for you. But just know and trust God that all things work together for your good. Um, God is sovereign. God is good. You know what I'm saying? So don't worry. God will make a way. God will provide. And I'm not trying to say quit your job when you don't have a backup. You know what I'm saying? Be wise, be smart, be diligent. Especially if you're a young man, find some work, get busy, and trust me, the Lord will guide you and the Lord will lead your steps every step of the way. And for myself, I'm so blessed to be in this opportunity because, man, I've been able to have the freedom. I've been able to do whatever I want at any time, in a sense of like, okay, if I need to go travel, I can go travel. I've been on a mission trip this year, been on 2 trips this year, and it's just such a blessing knowing that I'm literally making money in my sleep and I'm doing the thing that I love. You know what I mean? And I think just over the months, I was low key kind of ungrateful when I first got fired because I was like, yo, um, I kind of like, I was running my brand, but I took a step back from everything that I was doing. Like I actually let my brand run on autopilot without me being there, and I wasn't even designing. I wasn't even like putting the back end stuff into play. And I was just kind of like, fanning the flame, but not fully fanning the flame. And over the last month or so, I think the Lord's just been showing me like what He's really given me and what what He's given me to steward, and kind of like the role and the purpose and what I really need to do with my business. So again, I pray that this video encourages y'all. And also another thing that the Lord has done for me is I just been able to have more time with my family because there's someone in my household who is not doing too good physically. He's very sick, so I'm able to be at home. I'm able to stay and just provide whatever I need to provide for that person in these times, right? And obviously the most important thing, I've been able to get closer to God, just hopping more into His Word, being in community more, and all types of things, right? So this season is definitely a blessing, and I hope I can stay in this season for a long time. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the whole thought of going to school or back to a 9 to 5, actually, like, I dread it because I've seen the freedom that I've been able to have with this. And I always tell my parents, like, yo, I don't ever want to go back to a job. And they always look at me weird, but it's been such a blessing. And I pray for you guys, whether you're going through the situation or not, that y'all can experience the same thing one day, and that the Lord uses your gifts and your talents for you to be able to work, you know what I'm saying, for yourself. But if you're not called to, work for yourself, there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, just to say that right now. Even my dad, he's worked a 9 to 5 his whole life, and I never heard him complain because he loves it. So again, y'all, this is my short little testimony. Hopefully this video blesses y'all. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay anointed. You know what I'm saying? So we out of here. Easy.